Good evening. Today is Wednesday, May 6th, 2020. I'm Heather Pefley, Clerk for the City of Manistee. The City Council's May 6th, 2020 regular meeting being conducted remotely where all members of the City Council are in separate locations and not at the City Hall Council chambers will be called to order by Mayor Roger Zielinski shortly. As always, this meeting is being recorded and will be broadcast on Manistee TV channels 189 and 190 and available at manisteetv.org. There will be no video associated with this meeting, solely audio. The reason for this is projecting video through Zoom sometimes causes a delay, which makes communication in this scenario difficult and awkward. In just a moment, we will start individually unmuting the microphones of each member of the City Council, the City Manager, and the City Attorney. We are unmuting them individually to make sure there is no disruptive audio feedback coming from each of them. Doing so individually allows us to easily identify the source of any disruptive audio issues. Finance Director Ed Bradford is assisting me with this meeting, and you may hear his voice if we have an issue that requires his assistance. The microphones of all members of the City Council, the City Manager, City Attorney, and City Clerk will always be live unless there is an audio disruption. I will now begin to unmute and check each microphone that will be live during the meeting. Councilmember Cooper, can you hear me?
Yes.
Councilmember Beaton, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Mayor Zielinski, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Councilmember Cipcic, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Councilmember Szymanski, can you hear me? Councilmember Szymanski, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
City Manager, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
City Attorney, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Heather.
Okay, great. As a reminder to the council members, please clearly state your name before speaking or making a motion or a second. Roll call will be taken as usual. Now that activating the microphones is complete, Mayor Roger Zielinski will call the meeting to order and will share some additional information about how this meeting and likely City Council meetings for the foreseeable future will be conducted. Mayor Zielinski, we are ready to proceed with the meeting.
Thank you, Heather. We'll call the meeting to order. Please take the roll.
Councilmember Cooper.
Here.
Councilmember Beaton.
Here.
Mayor Zielinski.
Here.
Councilmember Cipcic.
Here.
Councilmember Szymanski.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Here.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Here.
City Manager.
Here.
City Attorney.
Here.
Finance Director.
Here.
Planning and Zoning Director.
Here.
City Engineer.
Here.
Detective Glass.
I'm here.
Deputy Fire Chief Cameron.
Here.
Okay, roll call complete.
Thank you. As an important step in preventing the spread of COVID-19 virus, our Governor, Gretchen Whitmer, issued an executive order authorizing public boards in Michigan to conduct their meetings remotely. This is a critical step to help stop the spread. All aspects of how this meeting is being run is in compliance with the Open Meetings Act as modified by the executive order and has been reviewed by the city attorney. The city of Manistee is taking various steps to do our part during this pandemic, and this is one of them. We need to keep members of the public, our city council, and city staff healthy. Therefore, no member of the public, city council, or city staff are present in the council chambers. We will now begin the meeting. Public hearings, we have none. Citizens' comments on agenda-related items. All individuals attending the virtual meeting wait in a virtual waiting room, and their microphones muted. When it comes time for the public comment, each person waiting in the virtual waiting room will be called individually by the city clerk by the last 4 digits of their telephone number. Individuals will be asked if they have a comment or if they are passing. It is very important that those giving comments have a good phone connection and no sound or noise whatsoever in the background. Like televisions, all forms of audio should be muted. Otherwise, there will be a disruptive audio. If the issue cannot be corrected by the caller, we will move on to the next person in line. Please be aware, for those calling, that when you first call in, their full telephone number may be visible for a period of time on the recording. Although, we will work quickly to alter what is displayed so that it's just the last 4 digits of your telephone number. We will now take public comments. The agenda topics for those that do not have an agenda are, on the consent agenda tonight, we are approving the minutes, cash balance, revenue expenses, quarterly financial update, quarterly investment report, notification regarding next work session. Other agenda items are consideration of adopting the 2020-2021 budget and capital improvement plan and approving the Downtown Development Authority proposed budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. Consideration of medical care coverage for the fiscal year 2020-2021. Consideration of a consent agreement with Oneka Marine Incorporated. Consideration of notice of intent resolution of issuance of a general obligation capital improvement bond. Consideration of adopting a racial justice, inclusion, and diversity resolution. The city clerk will now take over and accept public comments on agenda items. Heather?
Okay. Number 0032, do you have a comment or would you like to pass?
What was the number again?
0032.
Yes, it's me, and I do have a comment.
Please state your name and address.
This is Richard Albee, and I live at 365 Lighthouse Way in the city of Manistee.
Go ahead.
Okay, I am speaking to encourage the City Council to pass the resolution for racial justice, inclusion, and diversity. I would like to ensure the City Council that I, nor the group that I represent, are part of any political group, but we are only interested in racial justice, inclusion, and diversity in the city of Manistee. We honestly believe that this is the resolution is in the best interest of the city and will notify all people that this is a great place to live and to do business. I am sure the City Council recalls that our group, Manistee County Racial and Justice Diversity Initiative, attended 2 work sessions of the City Council and took into consideration all recommendations from the City Council when rewriting this final resolution. We believe it is now time to pass this resolution to notify all citizens of the city of Manistee, as well as people visiting our community, that this is a welcoming community and a great place to live and work. May your leadership set an example for all citizens of our city and greater Manistee community. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk.
Number 0409. Do you have a comment?
Hello?
Hello, number 0409. Do you have a comment?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Please state your name and address.
Aaron. What's that?
Please state your name and address.
This is Aaron Fryer, 225 2nd Avenue, Manistee, Michigan, 49660. I wanted to talk about racial inclusion as well. as I've stated before at some of the different board meetings, not city council, but some of the other meetings, I am absolutely for it. I was talking with a friend of mine just the other day, who happens to be one of the board members of, I believe it is the Downtown Development Authority. But anyways, we were seeing what sort of ideas we could run up the flagpole on this. And evidently there are some people in our town, I don't know if it's, you know, we have a lot of people that come to our town at different times of the year, whether it be the sportsmen for the fishing or the hunting, or you know, a lot of people come to the casino when, except, you know, now the casino is closed down, but as soon as this COVID gets done, that'll be done for. But when I was talking to him about it, he seemed to have some preconceived notions about what exactly it meant and what we were trying to accomplish here. And I was letting him know that his views infringe upon our constitutional amendments. It's not right for him to be saying the sort of things that he is saying with respect to the inclusion. So I just wanted to let everyone know that I support it and I stand behind it. That's all I got.
This is Finance Director Bradford. Heather just let me know that she got disconnected, so she's going to have to dial back in. If you could just sit tight for a minute.
Exactly.
Mayor, Heather's going to try to dial back in, but without objection, I can go ahead and start calling on the other public to keep the meeting going along, if that would be acceptable.
That's acceptable, Mr. Bradford. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Telephone number ending in 0458. Do you have a comment to make?
Hi, Brad. This is Kate with the Development Authority.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Could you speak up and state your name and address?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's much better. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. I really appreciate it. This is Caitlin with the Manistee Downtown Development Authority. I'm here if there's any additional questions about the budget coming up.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
I can hear you.
Yep.
Okay, I was disconnected somehow. I had to dial back in as myself. I'm not sure if this is going to happen again, but let's hope it doesn't.
Heather, I'm on,
Yes.
I'm on 0032. That's the next one in line if you want to call them.
0032. All right, let me.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. They've already been done. Excuse me. 1426. Excuse me.
14. Okay.
Hello, is that me?
Hold on 1 second here.
Hello?
Oh. Number 1426.
Pass.
Do you have a comment?
Pass.
Pass. Okay. Number 0458. Do you have a comment?
Hi, Heather. This is Caitlin with the Manistee Downtown Development Authority. I'm here for budget questions.
Okay, thank you. This was. Okay, thank you. Number 2541. Do you have a comment, or would you like to pass?
I'll pass today. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 2763. Do you have a comment or would you like to pass?
Yes, this is Jean Butterfield, 2264 Murky Road in Manistee County, and I would just like to second and wholeheartedly associate myself with Mr. Albee's words and thank the City Council for your work at the last 2 work sessions and urge you to pass the resolution. Thank you.
Number 3340.
Yes, hello. Yes, I do. This is Linda Carly Nelson. My address is 3340 West Fox Farm Road, Manistee. And I would like to unite myself with my husband in this comment. We are co-presidents of PFLAG Manistee. PFLAG is Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays, and we wholeheartedly support this resolution for inclusion and diversity in the Manistee community. As representatives of PFLAG, we especially welcome the resolution's refusal to support attacks on or harassment of individuals based on sexual orientation or gender identity. And if adopted, this resolution will be a huge step forward for the City of Manistee and a role model for other communities in the state. Thank you very much.
Number 3726. Do you have a comment?
I'll pass. Thank you.
Number 4267. Do you have a comment?
Hi, my name is Bruce Allen. I'm at 74 Pine Street. I'd like to thank Jean Butterfield and Dick Albee for drafting this resolution. And I'd like to thank the council for the work that it's done so far. And I look forward to its passage. I think it speaks very well of Manistee. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 4270. Do you have a comment?
Yes, I do. My name is Lisa Allen, 74 Pine Street, Manistee. My comment is I just am very much in favor of the resolution for racial justice, inclusion, and diversity, and I'm looking forward to the passage of such. I've spoken before the council, and I really appreciate the work that they've done to come back and finalize this resolution. Thank you very much, and please pass this. Thanks.
Number 6814. Do you have a comment?
Not today, Heather. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Number 99. Hello, number 9954. Do you have a comment? Hello, number 9954. Do you have a comment? Hello? Hello, number 9954. Do you have a comment?
No, I do not.
Thank you. Good evening. Do you have a comment? I have a name of Jim on here.
No, I don't have a comment.
Thank you. Mayor, I believe that is everyone in the public comment.
Thank you, Heather. Moving along to the consent agenda. All items marked with an asterisk are on the consent agenda and considered by the city manager to be routine matters. Prior to approval of the consent agenda, any member of council may have an item from the consent agenda removed and taken up during the regular portion of the meeting. Consent agenda items include approval of minutes, cash balance, revenue and expenses, quarterly financial update, quarterly investment report, notification regarding next work session. At this time, council can take action to approve the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a motion?
Cooper, motion to accept.
I'll make it a second. This is Beaton. I'm sorry, Nick.
I have a motion. There's a motion by Cooper and a second by Beaton. Any discussion on the agenda? Items? Consent agenda? Hearing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Cooper.
Yes.
Councilmember Beaton.
Yes.
Mayor Zielinski.
Yes.
Councilmember Cipcic.
Yes.
Councilmember Szymanski.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. New business. Consideration of adopting the 2020-2021 budget and capital improvement plan and approving the Downtown Development Authority proposed budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. Under Section 7-4 of the Charter, the annual budget must be adopted before May 15th of each year. The budget has been the subject of multiple work sessions and a public hearing. Additionally, the City of Manistee is required by the state statutes to approve the budget of the Downtown Development Authority before it can be adopted by the Downtown Development Board. The DDA proposed budget was presented to City Council at the April 14, 2020 City Council work session. If approved by Council, the Downtown Development Authority Board must still hold a public hearing on their budget and vote to adopt it. At this time, Council could take action to adopt a resolution approving the 2020-2021 budget and capital improvement plan for the City of Manistee and approve the Downtown Development Authority proposed budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. Is there a motion?
This is Beaton. I'll make the motion that we approve the budget for the city and the capital improvement plan for the City of Manistee and the Downtown Development Authority proposed budget for fiscal year 2020-2021.
This is Szymanski, second.
I have a motion by Beaton and a second by Szymanski. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I have a question for city management. This is Beaton. I truly appreciate the cuts that were made to accommodate the hiring of another officer who will be number 13 in our police department. I would like to ask the city manager if he can run an ad to get this position filled so that we have somebody on the ground and ready to run by July 1st.
That's not going to be a problem. I've already talked with Detective Sergeant Glass this afternoon, and I told him when the budget was hopefully passed and adopted tonight by council, we would talk tomorrow morning about getting this going.
Mr. Taylor, I really appreciate hearing that, and I think that citizens will be happy that we're not wasting any time. And the people that had to take the cuts to make this happen will appreciate the fact that we're moving forward on it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Thad, when are we advertising for this besides tomorrow you're talking with Josh?
Yeah, Josh and I are going to have a discussion tomorrow to lay out what we need to do to get the ad out in the timeline. So it's going to be as soon as we can.
Okay, are we moving somebody into the detective position then while he's taking chief?
That's going to be a discussion that I'm going to have with Detective Sergeant Glass.
Okay.
Anybody else?
This is Szymanski. I'd like to thank all the members of the city staff that worked on the budget. These are really difficult times, and I know that it was an effort to come up with the additional funding without hurting any of our programs. So I think you did a really good job, and looking forward to the budget passing.
Is there anybody else?
Yes, Thad, do we have now 11, now that the chief has gone to Ludington, do we have just 11 people that we need to hire two, or what is the deal on that?
Well, we do have 11, and we'll start the advertising as soon as possible, and looking at hiring one until the final determination is made on replacement for Chief or Public Safety Director.
Then we'll be hiring another one after that, won't we?
Well, we have to look at which direction we're going to go first, but it doesn't make a difference because we're going to be advertising, and so by starting the hiring process, we'll be agile enough to take whatever steps we need for that possible second position.
Okay.
Okay, so the goal is to get 13, including the chief of police.
Yes.
Okay, that's all we needed. Yeah. That's all I needed.
Anybody else? Hearing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Cooper.
Yes.
Councilmember Beaton.
Yes.
Mayor Zielinski.
Yes.
Councilmember Cipcic.
Yes.
Councilmember Szymanski.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of medical care coverage for the fiscal year 2020-2021. The city was presented two options through our insurance broker for medical care coverage for the next fiscal year. Our current provider, Priority Health and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. The Blue Cross Blue Shield rates are slightly lower than those offered by Priority Health. However, the rates are not guaranteed until underwriting review. Given Priority Health's excellent coverage and service, coupled with the uncertainty associated with the Blue Cross Blue Shield rates, it is recommended that City Council continue medical care coverage through Priority Health in the next fiscal year. At this time, Council could take action to renew our medical care coverage with Priority Health for the fiscal year 2020-2021. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I have a motion from Beaton. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Grabowski.
We have a motion from Beaton and a second from Grabowski. Any discussion?
I'm just curious, this is Beaton, I'm just curious about something. Have you discussed with all of the people under the program for priority, have you discussed with them what their preference is between the Blue Cross and priority for fiscal year 2020, 2021?
No, we haven't discussed that. I did have a virtual meeting with the bargaining groups, representatives of the various bargaining groups. I explained the situation and told them that I was going to be recommending that we continue with Priority Health because of the uncertainty associated with rates, Blue Cross Blue Shield, plus they would have different deductibles and co-pays. And so I also told them how the rate increase would be allocated between the employees and the city.
Councilmember Shansky. Mr. Taylor, can you address what the increases are going to be to the individuals?
Yes, by per our labor agreements and by the practice for general employees, when there are increases for health care, medical care, the city assumes the first 5% of that increase. The next 5% or portion thereof is allocated to the employees, and if we have an increase greater than 10%, then we get with the employees to decide what direction we want to take. So in this case, employees will see a 2.88% increase in their health care costs as opposed to this current fiscal year.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else? Is there anybody else that have comments? Hearing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Cooper,
Yes.
Councilmember Beaton,
Yes.
Mayor Zielinski,
Yes.
Councilmember Cipcic,
Yes.
Councilmember Szymanski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of a consent agreement with Onekama Marine Incorporated. Onekama Marine Incorporated entered into a commercial riverfront lease agreement with the city of Manistee on February 16, 2018, for a riverfront property adjacent to their two separate landward parcels, 540 Water Street and 522 Water Street. They currently own and operate a private marina on the land described in the lease. At this time, Onekama Marine is marketing the property at 522 Water Street for sale. However, they wish to continue the lease and retain the right to lease all the land presently described in the lease, including the property adjacent to 522 Water Street, subject to a written consent of the new owner/purchaser of 522 Water Street. The city attorney has drafted a consent agreement to allow Onekama Marine to continue to lease all the property described in their commercial riverfront lease. At this time, council could take action to approve the consent agreement and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the document. Is there a motion?
This is Szymanski. I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Szymanski. Is there a second?
This is Grabowski. I'll second it.
I have a motion by Szymanski, a second by Grabowski. Is there any discussion?
This is Beaton. I have a question. If somebody had a vote down there that had a voting interest in this, would they have to recuse themselves?
I would defer to the city attorney, but I don't think there's a financial piece here for a council member, but I'll defer to the city attorney. George, are you online?
But I don't know if I can be heard. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep, we got you.
Okay, sorry about that. No, there's no conflict there. The party that of interest is Onekama Marine. Anyone that has their boat there doesn't have a financial interest in the marina, so I don't see any conflict there at all.
Okay, I just wanted to make that public. Thank you.
Mr. Taylor, I have a question. The lease goes through 2022. Is this new agreement going to extend that, or is it just going to stop at 2022 And what happens to the lease if the new owner doesn't want to continue the lease agreement?
Well, again, I'll defer to the city attorney. I think he's best positioned to answer that.
Councilmember Szymanski, that actually is the reason for the consent agreement, is what happens in 2022 if there's a different property owner of 522 Water Street. What's going to happen for Anekama Marine is that when they sell the property, they are going to have to enter into a separate agreement with the new owner that will require that new owner to consent to the continued leasing of that city land adjacent to 522 Water Street by Anekama Marine. And so that will be up to them to include that in whatever documents that are executed when that property is sold. And so actually the principal purpose for this consent agreement is to deal with that very fact of what happens at the time that this lease is up for renewal.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Cooper.
Yep.
Councilmember Beaton.
Yes.
Mayor Zielinski.
Yes.
Councilmember Cipcic.
Yes.
Councilmember Szymanski.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of notice of intent resolution for issuance of a general obligation capital improvement bond. The city has a number of time-sensitive capital projects that need funds over the next 3 years. These projects were identified in a proposed fiscal year 2021 budget. Administration and the city advisors recommend issuing general obligation limited tax capital improvement bonds to finance these projects. The first step in issuing these bonds is to adopt a notice of intent resolution declaring the city intent to bond in the amount not to exceed $6 million. The purpose of this notice of intent is to inform the electors of the city and give them a chance to petition for a referendum of the bond issue. The public has a 45-day period in which to gather signatures of not less than 10% of the registered electors in order to focus a special referendum election on the issue. Once the 45-day period has expired, the city can proceed with the bond issue. At this time, council can take action to approve notice of intent for the issuance of a limited tax general obligation capital improvement bond in the amount not to exceed $6 million. Is there a motion?
Cooper, motion.
Motion by Cooper. Is there a second?
Szymanski.
Grabowski, second.
I have a Cooper made the first motion and Szymanski second. Any discussion?
Mr. Taylor, do you want to just briefly explain why there is a difference between the not to exceed budget amount and what we have in the budget for our capital improvement plan?
Yeah, and I'll explain it, and Ed, certainly feel free to jump in. As you know, the capital projects are estimated right now at $5 million. Since we've put those estimates together, we know we have additional shoreline erosion along the river channel, and there's going to be, we anticipate there's going to be additional high water issues that we're going to have to address, and we're looking at those right now. We just want to have the ability to put this notice of intent out for up to $6 million, and then come back to council and make the recommendation based on our new observations of the additional shoreline erosion issues. And it might be over 5, but we don't want it to go over 6 million. So that's the reason.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Comments, concerns? Hearing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Cooper,
Yes.
Councilmember Beaton,
Yes.
Mayor Zielinski,
Yes.
Councilmember Cipcic,
Yes.
Councilmember Szymanski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Tania.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of adopting a racial justice, inclusion, and diversity resolution. City Council, staff, and the community group have worked on several drafts of the racial justice, inclusion, and diversity resolution. The final draft was developed that reflects input from all parties and is now presented to Council for their consideration. At this time, Council could take action to adopt Resolution 20-10, a resolution for racial justice, inclusion, and diversity.
This is Beaton. I would like to make the motion to adopt Resolution 2010, a resolution for racial justice, inclusion, and diversity.
I have a motion by Beaton. Go ahead.
This is Szymanski. I'll second that motion.
Motion by Beaton, seconded by Szymanski. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, this is Councilman Cooper. I was wondering if they added those 2 lines to it that me and Mr. Albee were talking about at the meeting. He said it was okay, that they didn't bother him. There was 2 different lines I had written down, and they were supposed to add it. Are they added to the end of that?
Yes.
Yes, the additions were made. The final draft that you're looking at was provided to Mr. Albee and Ms. Butterfield, and while it wasn't, some of the words weren't exactly what they wanted, it certainly conveyed the message they wanted. So they supported it.
Okay, thank you, Thad.
You're welcome.
Any other comments? Discussion? Hearing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Cooper,
Yes.
Councilmember Beaton,
Yes.
Mayor Zielinski,
Yes.
Councilmember Cipcic,
Yes.
Councilmember Szymanski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski,
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Tania.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Just a reminder, our next work session is May 12th at 7 p.m. We're on to concerns and comments. Citizens' comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to comment on municipal services, activities, areas of city involvement. Citizens in attendance via phone shall be recognized by the city clerk for comments. Limited to 5 minutes. Letters submitted to council will not be read. Every person in the virtual waiting room will be called by the last 4 digits of their telephone number. Heather, you're up.
Number 0032, do you have a comment or would you like to pass?
Yes, I do have a comment.
Please state your name and address.
I would like to thank the city council for passing the motion on the racial justice initiative. And I think you can be very proud of yourselves, and thank you for your leadership and your work on this project.
Number 0458, do you have a comment?
I'm all set, Heather. Thank you very much.
Number 1426, do you have a comment?
I'll pass.
Number 2541, do you have a comment?
No comments, thank you.
Number 2763, do you have a comment?
No comment, just thank you very much.
Number 3340, do you have a comment?
Yes, just want to thank the council very much for passing the resolution. We're delighted. Thank you.
And your name, please, and address?
I'm sorry, Linda Carley, 5030 West Fox Farm Road, Manistee.
Thank you. Number 4842, do you have a comment?
Yes, this is Robert Goodspeed, 301 Cypress Street, Manistee, Michigan, 49660. I want to thank the council, Thad, Ed, all the department heads for all their work on the budget. I know I've done this many times. I know what a pain in the butt the budget is, so thank you. I do appreciate all your hard work. I really do. Thank you.
Number 6814, do you have a comment?
Nothing now, Heather. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Number 9954, do you have a comment?
No, thank you.
I think that's everyone for citizen comments.
Thank you, Heather. You're going to move on to officials and staff and council members?
Sure, I can do that. City manager, do you have the comment?
No, I don't.
City attorney?
Nothing more, Heather, thank you.
Finance director?
Yes, I just want to thank council for approving the budget tonight, and just make the comment that as more information unfolds every day on the state of the economy and the state of the revenues coming into the state of Michigan, we're going to have to be extraordinarily flexible over the next 12 to 24 months once the revenue pictures become clear, and I look forward to working with council to manage through that. Thank you.
Detective Glass, do you have a comment?
No, ma'am, no comment.
Deputy Fire Chief Cameron, do you have a comment?
No comment. Thank you, Heather.
City engineer?
Nothing at this time. Thanks, Heather.
Thank you. Council, I would just like to let you know that the election went very well yesterday. We had about a 28% turnout in voters. The majority of them were able to mail in their ballots. We had about 15 to 20 people that actually came in either to drop off ballots or to vote in person at City Hall. So that went really well. And then also, I just want to apologize for the problems this evening with the meeting. And I kind of want council's opinion moving forward with the next meeting. Do you think that the way we're doing this, do you still want all of the verbiage that we're doing at the meetings to be done during the meetings like this? Or do you think that's not necessary anymore?
I think we can cut down on some of the introduction part, the meeting comments.
Okay, sounds good. Is everybody else okay with that?
Yes.
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 Okay. All right. Councilmember Cooper, do you have any comments?
No, I'll pass.
Councilmember Beaton?
I have just a suggestion for our next work session. First of all, I should probably thank all the staff for all the hard work they've done. I know they worked hard and they were responsive immediately to our request to change the budget. And I really appreciate that. But I'm thinking ahead. I know the Planning Commission is going to talk about sign ordinances tomorrow night, and signs make me think of, oh wow, this is a big election year. There's going to be a lot of signs out there. We don't have an ordinance on the books that states when we can post election signs in our yards. Now, coming from downstate, the community that I came from, which was a small community in Oakland County, we weren't allowed to put our political signs up prior to 30 days before the election. And I can recall that we've seen signs as early as August for elections in the city. I don't know whether it's worth discussion, but I'd sort of like to talk about it at the work session and to see what people think about. Should we limit the time period for when election signs are going to be up?
We can have that added to the next agenda.
Thank you.
Councilmember Cipcic, do you have any comments?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Councilmember Szymanski?
The only comment is I was impressed by the number of people who were involved and worked so hard on passing the diversity resolution. And again, I think that everyone is aware of how important diversity is to economic development. So good on you all for the work you did.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski?
Yes. Ted, is there anything, are we going to have a parade this year, 4th of July celebration, or is that off too?
That determination has not been made by the Chamber of Commerce. I've been in contact with them, and they're still debating whether they should hold it or not.
Okay. The other thing is on Linda's suggestion, is I know the county has an ordinance because I had to drag my signs out after a couple of days after the election. Thank you.
Okay.
Councilmember Martin Tanya?
I have nothing, thank you.
Mayor Zielinski?
Yes, just a quick note. I want to thank staff, everybody for working on the budget. I'm glad to see that over with. I also want to thank the people, the citizens of the city of Manistee, and for that matter, throughout the county. I see a lot of people wearing masks. I see a lot of people taking precautions to protect each other. It's much appreciated by those of us who are seniors, especially, me being one of those. With that being said, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Cooper.
I was waiting. Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. I thought maybe
You're welcome, anytime.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening and be safe.
Thanks,